Will you try for one moment to feel? At least act like you've got a heart. We're talking about Gary.
You can't enter Gary because Gary's a mutt.
Hi everyone, this is AJ. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new video. Yes, a new Star Trek related video. I'm going to show the remainder of my Star Trek collection on physical media. Yes, the other day I did do a video, which you can take as being a part one to this, I suppose, showing my Blu-rays of Star Trek. And now I'm going to move into the DVDs, because I had some people say they were surprised that I didn't show the DVDs as well. So let's just get into the DVD side of it, shall we? But actually, before we do, I want to show you this. This is a DVD, sorry, this is a Blu-ray that I forgot to show, and it is a release of the film version of The Best of Both Worlds. I picked this up really cheap. I haven't got Star Trek Next Generation on Blu-ray. I've yet to get that. I will get it at some point when the steelbooks come out. Yeah, I don't know. Did they do steelbooks? I don't know. Anyway, no, I will get just the standard set, you know, in the box at some point. So anyway, so this here, like I said, it is the sort of film version, I believe, of Best of Both Worlds, parts 1 and 2. Comes in a nice slip like that, which is nice. And it's got its own slip. That's the case for it, with the Blu-ray inside. But what's nice about this is it's got this sort of case here that, let me put that back in first, it's easier. So it's got something to sort of rest against, something hard, and it opens up like so. So it's a bit die cut, and it gives you a double picture of Locutus and Picard. Picard, Locutus, Picard, Locutus.
I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile. From this time forward, you will service us.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
So, let's get on. Let's start with the film series. So, back in the day when I used to be DVD, before Blu-ray came along, a lot of my stuff came from America, and no exception with this set here. So, I shall do these one at a time. You may see me leaning down to pick up. No, that's not very good, is it? I'll tell you what, I'm going to put them there. I'm going to bring that closer. And there we go. Now I'm set. So, they're reachable without me ducking and diving and all that sort of thing. So, Star Trek The Motion Picture. I have this release here. Nice thick case, double disc edition, like so. There is a pamphlet inside. What's this? An invoice. AG Star Trek. I've still got the invoice in here. So anyway, we'll have a look at that in a minute. That'll be interesting. See how much I actually paid for this. So there we go. Star Trek The Motion Picture. Double disc set.
I'm taking over the set of Seatwell.
You're what?
I'm replacing you as captain of the Enterprise.
You know, it's pretty good. Nice set. And the invoice here, bloody hell, this came to not where I lived before here, not where I lived before that, but where I lived before that. Yes. Wow. Okay, so I got this along with the movie America's Sweethearts. Yes, with the movie America's Sweethearts, right? And I paid, let me get the address out the way. Although I don't live there anymore anyway, so, but there we go. I paid $16.99 for this DVD. And $17.99 for Region 1 America's Sweethearts. $34.98. And I had a load of other stuff to follow. Let's see what I had to follow, shall we? Just out of interest. I know this is Star Trek related, but this is history. The Grinch, Moulin Rouge, Pearl Harbor, AI, Artificial Intelligence, Scary Movie 2, Fast and the Furious, Jurassic Park 3, Rush Hour 2, American Pie 2, Osmosis Jones, there's a film I haven't heard of in a long time. Ghosts of Mars, Planet of the Apes, the complete TV series, I still have that. And Babylon 5, In the Beginning, The Gathering. Yeah, blimey. Wow. $16.99. That seems rather cheap nowadays, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on. So next up, obviously, what comes after that is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
We now return to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, edited for goats.
Now, for some reason, they did do the motion picture had its own thing like that, and then we came to these sort of grey border squares with the art inside. Yeah, but the same size sort of release. So in here you did get a book with it, obviously, and 2 discs. So I do actually like this. Special features on one disc, film on the other. I did like these releases, these thicker ones. They were quite good. Extended Director's Edition was on there. Yeah, and a load of special features as well. Fantastic. And then obviously Star Trek 3. Same again, with the booklet inside, which, well, it was just like, you know, a little bit of nothingness really. 2 discs again, they're all like that. Sorry, I didn't show the discs, I just showed the black bit. And then the Voyage Home.
My friends, we've come home.
Final Frontier.
All right, I'm gonna have to do the Vulcan V-meld.
The Undiscovered Country. Cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war.
Cry havoc! And let's slip the dogs of war.
Star Trek Generations, and I love this film, I really do. I really think it's underrated. I think it's a fantastic movie.
I take it the odds are against us and the situation is grim.
You could say that.
First Contact. I mean, I'd actually go so far to say I might prefer this to First Contact. I really would.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther. I will make them pay.
Then we have Insurrection. You know, this is where, although I had the double languages on that one. And the same for Nemesis. Star Trek Nemesis. There's a loose disc in there. Oh no, there's a blank Phillips rewritable disc in there. I wonder what's on that, he says. I don't know, I'm just joking.
Land out to Enterprise! Draw their fire away from the cruisers!
We're having tea, thank you very much. Yes, tea.
So they made this sort of set that looked like that, which is quite nice. Now, with the Next Generations, when they were released, I opted for these big chunky boxes, which open up. Bloody hell, if I can do it. Yeah, like so. Like so. And inside of each one, I won't get each one out. They came like that. Next Generation, like so. And then they just opened up to about a mile long with umpteen discs in there. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, that was season 1. You do get a little booklet in there as well, like so, which has all the episodes and no character stuff. Characters, have I got the episodes? I thought it would. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it does tell you what's on each disc there. Or character biography, little character blurbs, things like that. So these were quite, different, I would say. So that was season 1. Then we had season 2, like so, with a different colour sort of bit there, as you can see. I hold them up together. Season 1 and 2. But they all sort of kind of mulge like along. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Season 3, nice embossing there, plastic, and debossed on the back. Season 3, I won't hold up each one. 4, 5, 6 and 7, as you can see, they sort of get darker, a different colour, but same sort of colouring, but different shades, so to speak. So that was Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Make it so, number 1.
And the movies. So what came next?
We now return to Star Trek: Creep Space Nine.
Ah, she saw us! Warp speed!
So obviously next came Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, when Deep Space Nine came out, I did start getting them in the same sort of boxes like this. These were a lot better, a bit more interesting to look at, a bit more patterning. The space station there with the title, season 1. Clear on the spine. Again, Starfleet logo there with some deep, well, it still comes out. And inside, if I can get it open, we have the discs like this. So they did lose the thingamajig, the little sort of square fold out thing, and these sort of opened up like so. I don't know how long Next Generation went with that, or whether they changed to this halfway through. I could have opened them up and have a look, but I didn't remember that until now. And in here I do have a virtual space station installation disc, module 1 of 7, Deep Space Nine screensaver, station, spatial virtual, yeah, so like a virtual tour of the station. And I'm guessing there's one in each one. You get them all. And yeah. So that stays in there. And obviously the little booklet like so. And the booklet had, again, like the Next Generation one, some character stuff. Yeah. Nice. Where's the discs gone? There they are. So I got season 1, 2 and 3 like that. Different colours on the things, clear still. But yeah. So seasons 1, 2 and 3. Now once I got there I stopped buying them. It was just too much money. These were like 80, 70, 80 quid at the time when they came out. Crazy for one season. Just mental. So I then later went back and got the remaining Deep Space Nines like this. So the standard sort of releases that you'll see. So season 4. And you know, they're nice. They're slim cases. You know, so I can't knock them. Season 5 there. Is that a Jem'Hadar ship? I think that's a Jem'Hadar vessel there. Season 5, then we have season 6. Like so, with Cisco and O'Brien on the front. And a runabout ship on them. Obviously they're all the same. Yeah. And the final season, season 7 with Cisco and Bashir. And you've got the space station with a sort of like armada of ships approaching it. Now, for me, Deep Space Nine is my favourite Star Trek series. It truly is. As much as I love The Next Generation and adore it and have great memories of watching it and getting into it, Deep Space Nine is what landed and stuck with me the most. I like that darker tone, that darker aesthetic, the more sort of war feel to it, and the ambiguousness of some of the characters in it and all this sort of thing. That worked for me more so than Star Trek Next Generation. Sorry.
Look what it's cost you. Major, shut that thing off! Commander Worf, prepare to launch torpedoes! Wait!
So yes, so let's have a look at what comes next, and that's Voyager.
Make sure we don't reactivate our holodecks. The other alternative is we destroy your ship.
Now, with Star Trek Voyager, I will say that this is my least favourite Star Trek series. I'm not talking about the modern series. Forget about the modern ones that are on Paramount Plus and that sort of thing, whatever you call it. I'm talking about the sort of TNG era and original era of Star Trek. Voyager was my least favourite. I didn't connect really with any of the characters, not many of them. The ones that I did, I felt were wholly underused. Tom Paris. It had some good stuff in it. It did have some good characters. The inclusion of 7 and 9 was fantastic. I didn't mind Janeway as Mulgrew. However, it didn't live up to its potential for me. The idea of having these two opposing crews on board, you know, I forget what they're called now. The ones that were the terrorists, the Marquis. You had the Marquis on board and you had Starfleet officers on board having to work together. This should have led to a lot of grievances, a lot of discord on board, but it didn't. It was like after the pilot episode, everything was hunky-dory between them. I didn't really like that. That didn't really work for me too much. So it gave us a setup that didn't really come into play. And also, I think that, getting them home at the end, fine, fantastic. But I feel that, getting them home in the final episode was the wrong idea. They should have got them home 10 or 8 episodes before the end and then dealt with the aftermath, because you have got terrorists on board, people that would have been wanted for terrorist activities before this happened. You had a Borg individual on board. You had the emergency medical hologram that would be different than what's on Earth at the moment, this sort of thing. So the ramifications of all that and what happened to these characters would have been far more interesting end than just, hey, we're home, we've got home, and there's the ship approaching Earth. But there we go. So let's have a look at these, shall we? So Season 1 of Star Trek Voyager, like so. Nice sort of metallic at the top. Chakotay and Janeway on the front. With a Marquis, is that Marquis Raider? It's a Marquis ship anyway there. So that's Season 1. And then we have Series 2. Robert Picardo as the emergency medical holographic doctor. He was great, didn't mind him at all. Robert Picardo is a fantastic actor and a joy when he's in anything. And then you had, is it Neelix? Is that his name? Yeah, Season 3 here. Now, Neelix was a character that didn't particularly work for me. Yeah, he wasn't great. So that's Season 3. Then we jump to Season 4 with the introduction of 7 of 9. Jerry Ryan, she was very good. You got the Voyager on the front there. She was a good addition to the series and done wonders for it, I will say. Then you have, I can't remember the character's name now. Oh, blimey, it eludes me. I'll come on to that in a minute. But yes, Bilana or something? Someone tell me. Yeah, I can't remember. And then you have, there you go, wasted character, Tom Paris. He's still directing and executive producing programmes today. He's still quite busy behind the scenes of TV and film. That's Season 6. And then we have the final season here with Tuvok on the front. Again, Tuvok really didn't do much for me, to be honest. But there we go. Belena Torres, was that her name? The half Klingon girl? Someone tell me, please. Anyway, yeah, so, like I said, Tom Paris was an interesting character, underused. It just didn't it didn't gel for me. It didn't gel for me at all. And they really did weaken the Borg in this series. It didn't matter what the Borg threw at them, they could get through it. And it would have been nice to have seen the ship sustain battle damage as the show went on, and maybe see it change and evolve through the evolution of the series. Especially the fact that they're in a different part of space and they're getting fixed up by different alien races. You know, they should have had this other alien tech start building on top of their own to keep the ship going and this sort of a thing. But I think by the end, the ship still looked pretty much the same as it did from the beginning, which was an unfortunate thing. I guess that would have been too hard for them to do. So then we come on to the final Star Trek series, which is Star Trek Enterprise. Now, oh no, I will say, let me just step back to Voyager, is that I didn't rush out to get these by any means. These I only got a few years ago. I sort of hunted them down cheap because they'd become cheap, just to complete my sort of Star Trek series. Yeah, I didn't buy them full price because I just wasn't that into that series. And here we have now, season 2, we have Star Trek Enterprise that I have in these same sort of cases as before. Again, nicely done on the front, a bit more interesting than the Next Generation ones. I don't know what the Voyager, I think the Voyager ones were red, but I ignored them. So nice silver for the logo and the ship there, and a debossed image there. Enterprise.
Identify yourself.
Captain Archer of the battle cruiser Enterprise.
Star Trek Enterprise. Obviously, the show did start as Enterprise and then went on to become Star Trek Enterprise. Now, with this one, these pull apart like so, and inside we are given a more traditional sized release like this. That obviously comes out, and you've got a nice image on the plastic there. You get a booklet. Let's have a look in the booklet. I won't do this for everyone, because they're all going to be like of the similar ilk. So you got all the episodes in there, no character bio stuff, just episodes. Yeah, so you had the original series, which were like that. I never had the original series on DVD. That's when I got them on Blu-ray, and Voyagers looked like that. You can get these quite cheap now, these sort of sets in CEX and places, and they came like so. So nice sort of. Oh, let's open them all up like so, you know what I mean? Yeah, now as a series, I think Enterprise was fine. It was at a time when Paramount had saturated the market with Star Trek. You know, you'd had, how many years had Star Trek been on? 7 years of Next Generation, overlapping with 7 years of DS9, overlapped with 7 years of Voyager. Voyager ended, and then we got Enterprise. So you probably had a couple of decades of Star Trek on TV. So it's no wonder that the viewing figures started waning. But yeah, so that's season 1. And we have season 2, like so, with its sort of pocket slip it sits in. And season 3. And season 4. Yeah, so Scott Bakula. I don't know. I felt this was, for me, I know everyone has their personal favourite Star Treks. I would put that above Voyager. I was a bit more invested with the characters in it. I didn't mind the fact it went back to before Star Trek. Forget the fact that things look more modern in it and all that. So that's just to do with TV and the way things were made. Do you know what I mean? But Scott Bakula, fantastic. They seemed a bit more human in their interactions and the way they spoke, a bit more in line with today. Yeah, it was a good series. I enjoyed it. It's a shame it only ran for the 4 seasons. Obviously after 4 seasons it was cancelled, and it was really let down by its final episode, by giving the final episode of it over to a Next Generation story. That was just stupid and really unfortunate for this crew, and kind of like, you know, it's the equivalent of being dumped on, I suppose. But yeah, so there we go. So Deep Space Nine is my favourite. overall Star Trek series. I love it. Film-wise, it's the original films over the Next Generation films. I suppose Next Generation would be my second series. Third would be Enterprise, and in last place would be Voyager. That's the way I'd probably rank them. And obviously somewhere in there would be the original Trek. But I'm talking about this unit of series over that spilled these couple of decades. Yeah, fantastic stuff. So that's it. So if you saw the Blu-ray one and now you got this one, you've seen my entire collection of Star Trek. Now, obviously, the films, I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4. Blimey, I have the Star Trek films 6 times. I've got DVDs. I've got the Blu-rays. I've got 4Ks. I have Blu-ray steelbooks. I have Blu-ray in a massive collection. So 5 times, sorry. I have Star Trek films 5 times over. That's excessive. That's crazy. That's mental. Time to stop with the Star Trek films. Yes. Any other releases that come out down the line, forget. You've got them enough already. Yes. So there we go. That's it. This is AJ. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you a Star Trek lover? What's your favourite Star Trek series? Why don't you tell me and tell me why? Do you like Deep Space Nine? I think it's very underrated. I think it's one of those. I think it's like the License to Kill of the James Bond films. I think it's one of those programs at the time that was a bit like, but then over time people have revisited and thought, you know what, this is bloody good. This is bloody good. A bit ahead of its time. I know it had the Babylon 5 stuff behind it as well, or running at the same time, and there was the stuff about this having copied Babylon 5 and all that nonsense, but I like Babylon 5 as well. That's fantastic. But yeah, so there you go, all my Star Treks. I'm done, I'm off. I shall see you all later. I'm going to boldly go now to have some dinner. See you later, take care and goodbye.
Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human. Orders?